All right, here is lesson 5.2, represent ratio tables and rates with tables and graphs. I can use a graph or a table to find equivalent ratios and use the ratios to solve problems. Cameron cleans her kitchen with an eco-friendly cleaning solution. She uses 4 tablespoons of baking soda for every 1 quart of water. She made a table to help her mix the different amounts of cleaning solution, but the table has faded over time and some of the values are illegible. A copy of the table is shown. Complete the table and describe the strategies you use to fill in the missing quantities. All right, I want you to pause and I want you to figure this out and then come back and share your answer with me. All right, so I'm not going to write a lot of words, but I'm going to talk you through it. Probably, hopefully, something that you thought of as well. So we have a table here and we're going to go, let's see, we have 1 quart of water to 4 tablespoons of baking soda. So 1 times 4 is 4, right? So then I could do 4 times 4 is 16. And I could say, okay, something times 4 is 8. If I could work my way backwards, that would be a 2. Is that what you guys did? I hope so. Let's go to the next page. All right, Hank has a recipe that calls for ingredients shown. Sour cream and milk. The table shows the amount of sour cream and milk he will need if he doubles the recipe. Describe the pattern you see in the amount of sour cream and the amount of milk when it's doubled. Let's see, 1 cup of sour cream and 4 cups of milk. So what's our relationship between the sour cream and the milk if it's doubled? Well, if it's doubled, then we have to multiply each ingredient by 2. Complete the table for 3 and 4 times the original batch. What did you do to find your answer? So there's a couple different things we could do. We could find the pattern between sour cream and milk. Or we could say, okay, this was doubled. Then if I'm going to triple it, that means times 3, right? So I could do 4 times 3, which is 12. If I'm going to quadruple it, or it says 4 times, so I could do 1 times 4 is 4, and 8 times 4 is 16, right? So we multiplied the original amounts by 3 and 4. Write a ratio of cups of sour cream to cups of milk for each batch size of the recipe in the table. So 1 batch, we said, so it says to write a ratio of sour cream to milk. Sour cream to milk. So that means sour cream is on top and sour cream came first in our table. So for 1 batch, it was 1 cup of sour cream to 4 cups of milk. For 2 batches, it was 2 to 8, then 3 to 12, 4 to 16. Are the ratios you wrote in C equivalent ratios? How do you know? All right, well, equivalent ratios are ratios that name the same comparison. So they're a lot like equivalent fractions. Do all of these fractions or ratios equal the same? Yeah, we could reduce all of them back down to 1/4, couldn't we? Yeah, so yes. Okay. Complete the statement. You can blank both terms of a ratio by the same blank to find an equivalent ratio. So what did we do up here? Yeah, you can multiply both terms of a ratio by the same number. So equivalent ratios have a multiplicative relationship. Describe a consistent pattern between the number of cups of sour cream and the number of cups of milk. How can you use this pattern to help you find the amount of milk you need for 8 batches? So this is what I was saying, is we could also look across. How do I go from 1 to 4? Yeah, it's just 4 times. So the milk is 4 times the amount of sour cream. So the number of cups of milk is 4 times the number of cups of sour cream. So if we wanted 8 batches, we would do 4 times 8, and we would need 32 cups of milk. All right, join me on the next page. Kim takes dance classes. The dance studio offers classes in blocks. All right, so you can see 5 classes are $90, 8 classes $120, and 10 classes $140. Kim pays $90 for every block of 5 classes. What is a rate you can rate to represent this block of classes? Well, a rate is just when we compare two things with different units. So our rate would just be $90 for 5 classes. It's important that we're using labels on these ones, okay? All right, complete the diagram to find the unit rate for the classes in the 5 class block. When we do a unit rate, the bottom has to be a 1. So it's how much, in this case, 1 class will cost. So here they've written the ratio, the rate that we came up with, and then they set up the unit rate by putting the 1 there. They're hinting that we're going to divide. So 5 divided by what gives you 1? 5. And just like with fractions, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So 90 divided by 5 is 18. So it's $18 per class if you do the 5 class block. All right, and then it says explain in words what you did to find the cost. We divided by 5. All right, complete the diagram to find the unit rate for classes in the 8 class block. So up above in that table, we saw that it was $120 for 8 classes. Well, remember a unit is for 1 class, so 8 divided by what gives us 1? 8. So we'll do 120 divided by 8, and we'll get 15. So if you buy the 8 classes, you're actually only paying $15 per class. All right, now they want us to do it again, but for 10 classes. So look up at the top, how much were 10 classes? $140, right? And we want to know how much for 1 class. So if I'm going to go from 10 to 1, I'm going to divide it by 10. So I need to divide my top by 10. 140 divided by 10 is 14. So it's only $14 per class. All right, so if we compare the unit rates, we found that if we buy 5 classes, it's $18 a piece. 8 classes, it's $15 a piece. And 10 classes, it's $14 a piece. So that's what we're going to say. 5 classes cost $18 per class. Eight classes cost $15 per class. And 10 classes cost $10 per class. So basically we notice that the unit rate per class decreases as the number of classes per block increases. So that's actually quite normal, quite regular. That's why it's so important that we learn unit rates, because you're going to find that you might be saving money in the long run. Okay? All right. Join me on the next page for one more example. Tova earns money for sitting for friends. Tova earns money pet sitting for friends and neighbors. She earns the same amount per hour. Complete the table to show how much Tova earns for different hours. All right, so 2 times what is 40? 2 times 20. So this is a ratio table, so it has to be the same all the way down. So 4 times 20 is 80, and then something times 120 is, something times 20 is 126. All right, and then when they want us to graph it, so what that means is they show hours and money. So we'll do 2 hours is $20. 4 hours is $80. And 6 hours is $120. What do you notice about the points on those graphs? They're in a straight line. Do you guys see that? And they're just going up straight. Use the graph to predict the unit rate, or the amount that Tova earns per hour. How can you use the table to check your prediction? All right, so what we would do is we would connect these, and this is better if you have a ruler. Okay, so we're going to look at C. That is not. So to use your graph, you could use the all right, to use your graph, you could draw a straight line. It's best if you use a ruler, but I don't have a ruler, so there we go. And then it says for 1 hour. So here's 1 hour. How much money does she make? 20. And could we use our graph, our table, to help us? So if we had 1, could we do 1 times 20 to figure it out? Yeah. So $20 per hour. And we just divide both quantities. All right, let's look at the check your understanding. Again, pause and come back and check your work. All right, a snack shack sells trail mix packs and bottles of water during a softball game. The items are not sold individually. Instead, the snack shack only sells a snack special that contains 2 packs of trail mix and 3 bottles of water. Complete the table using equivalent ratios. So we're going to figure this out. I love these. So if you look here, 2 to 4 is times 2, right? So 3 has to be times 2, so that's 6. Then how do you go? Let's see, we could do 3 to 18 is times 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. And then 2 times 10, right? So 3 times 10 is 30. Okay? So you just have to figure out what you can multiply by to find your missing numbers there. All right, a train travels at a constant speed for 420 miles. If it takes the train 7 hours to travel that speed, or that distance, what is the unit rate? So remember, unit rate is when we have a 1 on the bottom. So we would have 420 miles over 7 hours. And we want a 1 hour on the bottom. So 7 divided by what is 1? 7. So then we'll do 420 divided by 7. And we'll get 60 miles per hour. All right, guys, thanks for joining me on this one. See you next time.